Hey guys, it's your favorite final girl and boy, Emily and Nick, coming at you with a new episode of Gag Me with a Knife, a weekly podcast where we dissect, disembowel, and shred the best and worst slasher movies. This week we'll be starting our Backwoods Slasher Month as well as welcome a new addition to the Gag Squad.
Yeah, it's our good friend and fellow lover of slashers, Mike Carroll. He's going to be joining us as sort of a moderator and narrator for letting y'all know the synopsis of the movie, and perhaps keeping Nick and I on track when we do things like talk about Skeet Ulrich too much.
Shit.
Well, on second thought, he's not going to be able to do that. You won't be effective at that. But he won't be giving too many opinions, but we do need a babysitter and someone who isn't as long-winded as me to tell the story. So, anyway, hey, Mike.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Mike.
Yeah,
What's
that's
going
enough. All right. We'll get back to you.
We'll get back to it.
All right.
I'm Mike. Hello.
You done? All right. To start our month, Backwoods Slashers, we're going to creep right into 1981's Don't Go in the Woods. Emily's got the back of the box, so let's hear what's on that.
Okay. Everyone has nightmares about the ugliest way to die. Sheer horror and sublime suspense combine in this horrifying tale of fate of four young campers out for a relaxing weekend in the wilderness. Craig, Peter, Ingrid, and Joni set out on their carefree journey by the light of day, but as the forest becomes denser, darkness closes in around them. They begin to realize they are lost. Not really, but okay. When suddenly a form rushes from the trees, a machete glints in the failing light, and Craig falls dead.
That's
Okay.
not this movie.
Whatever. The others flee in panic and spend a horrifying night running and hiding from the bloodthirsty, maniacal killer. But it is Peter who suffers the most. Protecting the women, he has witnessed the most blood-spattering rampage he could ever imagine. And soon he is like an animal himself, loose on a mindless hunt for revenge. A terrifying spectacle that will teach you an important lesson in survival. Don't go in the woods. I think the lesson is don't go in the woods alone, but okay, that gave a lot of information that was not correct, but what are your thoughts, your just basic thoughts, Nick, on this movie?
Okay, so it's called Don't Go in the Woods, also known as Stick Fight, The Revenge of Grizzly Adams. And also, you said on the back of the box there, it was Peter who did the most suffering. I think he was trying to suffer through trying to do an American accent.
Ooh, yeah. But you did.
I liked it. I liked it a lot. I mean, it's not amazing. It is what it is. But no, I enjoyed it. It's out of control.
Yeah. I liked the length.
Yeah.
It was like an hour, 19 minutes.
It was
minutes.
shot in a beautiful location.
And it was wild. It was not good, but I didn't hate it. I don't know if I would watch it a lot, but yeah.
It's an annual thing, once a year kind of thing.
Maybe.
I would watch it again.
Well, then I'll call you and remind you.
I'll watch it again.
I'll watch it again.
I'll watch it again right now.
Going on a hike.
Right before you go on a hike. Yeah, because you'll get all your lessons from Craig. So, Mike.
Is it Greg or Craig?
Craig.
Craig, yeah.
Craig. So let's get us started. Let's let our listeners know what's happening, because, well, there's not a lot. You could really sum this one up in very little, but go on.
Yeah, this one's a little light on the plot, but hey, it's entertaining, right?
Yeah, well,
so it starts off with a girl in really nice knee-high socks running through the woods.
Her name is Alma. I don't know how anyone knows that, but...
Did they ever say it?
No, but it's in the credits.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so, yeah, I've never seen a movie where so many random people in the vicinity are getting knocked off that have really little to do with the main story here. So, yeah, Alma, she gets dispatched pretty quickly. Which,
by the way, is a cutaway death, and it just looked to me like she started her period in the creek.
That's where all girls do, right?
Yeah, it shows not how there is no, and in the kill count, there's. I was trying to look up maybe how she was killed. It was like unknown.
Yeah.
They don't. It doesn't show how she's killed or
That's
anything.
where I started my period.
And also, this movie does suffer from very bad editing. There is
Maybe there was supposed to be piranha in the stream. Piranha fish.
piranhas.
Yeah, piranhas.
Anyway, okay, so
after that, we see the bird watching ornithologist. Something happens to his cheek.
It explodes.
apparently I also got his arm cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
Gotta have those.
so, yeah. But before that, I think we're introduced to our 4 main characters right before the bird guy.
Well, I have it written down as right after that we meet the know-it-all backwoodsman Craig.
Or Dr. Alan Grant from Jurassic Park and his wildlife lesbians.
That'd be Joni and Ingrid.
Uh-huh.
And they are being taught the 3
It
lessons.
was Peter also.
Yeah, Peter, the jackass,
Yeah.
with the horrible accent.
Yeah.
He's the only guy who doesn't know those 2 are lesbians.
Yeah. They think they're...
Well, actually, I think both those guys don't
No,
know.
neither of them know. No one knows.
But Craig is espousing his ideal top 3 things that you don't do in the woods.
Yeah. Okay. For one, the acting's bad anyway. And then on top of that, it's horribly dubbed. So,
Yeah, all the audio is done in post.
yeah. So, I don't even know if it's good Nick, I don't even know if it's good advice. I don't know. I don't know if the advice he's giving is good.
If they would have known the title of the movie, they wouldn't have been in the movie.
The only advice I heard that was good was I think it's supposed to be Peter, but he's in the background going, "Stay at home and forget about it."
That's right.
That's best advice.
Yeah, but Craig does say never, never go in the woods alone. So we got the title and the dialogue in less than 5 minutes into the movie, and I already hate these people. I mean, and then Craig says something, goes, "and out of decay," and then just stops. And I'm like, out of decay of what? What are you talking about? And I'm like, shut the fuck up, Craig.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't mean to jump ahead, but Peter is probably the most likable character in this movie.
He is.
Maybe Ingrid.
But I mean, like, I was like, this isn't fun for anybody. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for these people that are in the movie. It's more like don't go in the woods with Craig, honestly.
Well, he does say be careful of rabies.
Yeah.
How do you know if an animal's rabid?
So after that...
After that, we see Dale and his wife. They're...
okay, she's also credited on the kill count as his mom.
Oh. Well, takes all kinds.
What a plot device.
Yeah, so it's random. Yeah, but you know his name's Dale because she just screams,
Dale!
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 Dale! Dale!
But he's going...
Don't leave me. And every character, don't leave me alone. Don't leave me alone. Shut the fuck up, bitch. Like, yeah. So anyway, also, he's
going to take a picture of a train by standing on top of a mountain. But...
he's wearing a pink beret and pink Hawaiian shirt also. Not conspicuous in the woods.
Camping gear.
So, I guess... what was her name again? The mother. The mother catches...
The mother slash... no, it just says Dale's mom.
Dale's mom gets killed first. And then Dale is hung by his camera rope. What is that? A camera rope over a mountain and is dropped, and he lands right in front of this couple who's gallivanting in a stream, but they never notice him.
They don't notice him in his pink fucking outfit. Dead.
Yeah, because it's so tacky.
I guess.
Why would you notice that? Like,
I was like, well, his mom was already acting like she was dying before she died.
yeah, she was a bitch all her life.
And no idea how she dies. It doesn't show.
It shows her starting her period too.
Yeah. No, it's her last period.
Yeah.
She's about to go through
Shows her hitting
menopause.
menopause.
But I guess, yeah, after that,
we
go back
to the cop car.
I thought we went back to Craig because they're talking about going to a cabin or something. That's when I thought it sounded like an Altman movie. And so listen, Altman is a great director, but there's just a lot of people talking over each other in this movie. So
Yeah, I think he might have had a better editor than this director.
if we had to deal, I think he's just a better director, probably too.
No.
Okay, so
Better than Altman. this guy's better than Altman.
is this where they are deciding they're going to camp instead of making it to the cabin that night? But Craig knows a great route that some friends told him about.
Yeah.
So then we cut to the cop car,
Officer Baby Dick.
and there is a song being played there. Well, get to that later.
Oh no, you can talk about it now.
Oh yeah,
Well,
the guy singing the country song that's playing in the cop car is the actor who plays
The
the
killer.
wild man killer.
Yeah, the
Grizzly
maniac.
Adams.
Yeah.
So he gets out of the car, goes into the sheriff's office. There are some city cops there talking about missing person cases, but the sheriff is busy.
Yeah. Playing
Until
golf.
his deputy comes in, and finds out that he's playing golf in his office.
Did you guys think that this deputy looked like an Aryan James Franco a little bit?
I did.
Yeah. And yeah, the first place the cop goes, though, he's like, I guess I'll do it. I guess I'll go look about this one guy that's missing. It's
The bears
It's
get
the
him.
it's the bird watcher, right?
Yeah,
The ornithologist.
the ornithologist.
So he stops at a gas station and he's like, have you seen this guy? And he's like, yeah, he was in here or whatever. And he's like, oh, he was an ornithologist? He talked like everyone else. I was like, well, what? Did you expect him to walk in just doing bird calls? Like he doesn't know how to talk? Because...
Have you ever met an ornithologist?
No, I guess not.
Well.
And the cop is basically just like, well, if you see him, tell him he's missing. I was like, good job, Robert Stack. This is a fucking unsolved mystery if I've ever seen one.
Oh, man. I mean, the deputy's over there playing pinball.
Yeah. And right after that's the only hot girl in this movie.
Yeah, the fat sheriff finally gets out of the office and starts getting out into the mountains, and he hears a woman screaming, and then the most attractive female by far in this movie runs into him on her roller skates, and he says,
Alma wasn't bad either.
but he says, it's going to be that kind of summer.
And then she roller skates right out of the fucking movie.
Yep,
Yes.
roller skates out of the movie Our Lives, and I was like, what kind of summer? One where like hot girls run into you on roller skates?
Sounds
That
like
was
a good
that
one.
sheriff's chance, his one and only chance. She was kind of into him.
Yeah. So, but after that, we have our...
If you're going to run into something on roller skates, a fat sheriff, I mean, you could do worse.
Yeah.
He could do worse.
Yeah. Well, she could do worse. Like if she could have run into the maniac or a tree.
But I think
guess.
from there we go to our
The ghost story.
nonsensical campfire tale.
Yeah, totally nonsensical.
Oh, yeah.
The only thing it has to do with the movie, I think, is they mention the odd smell of the killer.
But the dude farts, right? Craig farts on him, and that's when
Yeah.
they're like, oh, and it's like, what a fucking really shitty, like, story dynamic. Like,
It was the longest, weirdest campfire story that I've ever heard.
and why do adults do this?
And these girls, at this point, I was also just like, these girls are fucking hideous.
You guys want to hear a campfire ghost story?
Yeah, and this is at this point, I also started realizing that people were repeating their lines a lot. They would say their line, then they'd say it again, and I was like, "What? Okay,
One more time for the people in the back.
yeah." Anyway, so we have that, and yeah.
Then we
that's-
cut to the love mobile of Dick and Sherry.
It looks like a rape van.
No, it's
That's
a
painted
VW
pink.
minibus. It's not a rape van. It's like the hippie mobile, man.
Yeah, but it's like graffitied on the side, just married. But
It looks like it's been graffitied there for like 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
That's my kind of a honeymoon.
Dude, my favorite part about this scene is whenever they're getting into it and it doesn't go off so well or whatever. She says it's just not perfect, and he goes, Sherry, baby, you're the most beautiful thing that ever walked into my life, and it's like fucking woof, bro. Like,
Yeah,
I hate to be super superficial, but this woman is fucking hideous. Like even Dick could have done better.
Yeah, I think I wrote 2 new characters.
So Sherry hears something outside, and Dick goes to investigate with his 6-shooter.
And of course, she says before he leaves, Don't leave me alone.
After she says his name, Dick, like fucking 20 times. Dick, it's just Dick.
So Dick's walking around in the woods, and he says, "Come on out here, you pencil neck geek." Classy Freddie Blassie.
Yep.
And
he's wearing a sweet ass boss kimono too.
He gets a couple shots off, but it doesn't really do much good.
No, he's killed. But we really don't know how. It says in the kill count that his face is slammed up against the van, but that's after he's been killed.
Yeah, I don't think he's alive.
We also don't know who, because the assailant is unseen so far.
The assailant is still unseen, and
it doesn't make any noises at this point, too.
No.
Later on, that will not be the case.
So, yeah. So I guess Cherry's still in the van. Right.
And somehow the wild man manages to push the bus down the ravine with Cherry in it, where it explodes.
Yeah. That is my favorite death of the whole thing, because even after it catches fire, you can still hear it going, "Ah! Ah!" And it's like, dude, she would have been dead 3 times over after that fall, man. Like, or at least knocked out.
Yeah.
No, and I love that the people in this movie got to actually push this van down a hill, because it's real, and then blow the fucker up. And it's like, hell yeah, dude.
So after that, we're back to our 4 people, right?
Yes.
It's the next day. Is it the next day?
Yeah, it's the next day.
Okay.
So they are hiking.
And the one Ingrid says, "This is what it must have looked like back a million years ago." I was like, bitch, where are the dinosaurs, A? And, like, also at that point, I didn't know which one Ingrid was. But I was like, does anyone know which one they are? I mean, we do find out later, but... And then that's when the sheriff gets in the helicopter.
That's when the sheriff's in the
plane.
Helicopter. The plane.
I can't believe the plane took off with that Wampler in it. Jesus
I know. Same.
Christ.
I said the sheriff's going to take that plane down.
I would say that plane footage and the van that they exploded with Sherry are by far the 2 most expensive elements of this movie.
Yeah, that's where 3/4 of the movie money went. 3/4 of the budget.
He also repeats his line about being in the chopper twice.
But he gets up in the plane, right? And he's like, "Okay, I don't see anything. That's enough. Let's take her back down."
Yeah.
The dude goes, "It's your nickel," and I thought it was like, "It's your dime."
Yeah.
You know, like,
but they only had a nickel.
I don't know these weird, like, Utah or whatever you call them, Okie talk.
Yeah.
So then we see a mother painting.
Okay, yeah. So enter another random character.
Well, this is right before you see she's filling up some creek water to drink. Like, why are these... And this isn't the only time that this happens in this movie. People fucking drink right out of the fucking creek. Like, especially when people are having... when people are having their periods in it, like, you shouldn't be drinking that shit.
People are having their periods in it.
Yeah, dude.
Feral hog shit in this water.
Yeah, dude.
You're going to get trichinosis.
Yeah, you don't drink that shit.
Okay, so...
She's reading... There's a random Barbara Cartland novel off in the grass.
I saw
and
that.
a baby. The
baby's
baby's
she has a baby,
She got the baby in its little swing.
She leaves it.
And then I guess the wild man paints the canvas red with her, if you will.
If you saw what she was painting, it was better than what she was doing.
Yeah, and she was also hideous.
She must have been really thin, because the knife was like going through her all the way through the canvas.
Yeah, but finally, that death was actually on screen.
Yeah.
Whereas most of the others have not been.
Well, they were all yanked off camera and stuff. Yeah.
I guess the baby's left alone at that point. And then we cut back to our 4 protagonists here. And Peter decides he's going to take the lead. Gets scared by a fellow hiker and I guess shits himself.
Yeah.
And then he's receiving a lot of criticism from the rest of the group about his shitting himself.
But one of them keeps going, Peter.
Dick. Peter.
And I'm like...
I think Ingrid's trying to call him back. I think that they're together. I was really confused by the dynamics
I think that they were
of
supposed to be, but...
I'm kind of thinking Joni and Ingrid are kind of a thing.
I think you might be.
At this point, I was also like, why do they keep talking about setting up camp again? Because aren't they supposed to be going to a cabin? So why aren't they going to the fucking cabin?
Well, they said they'd be there, they'd camp one night, be there the next day, and then they decided to fucking camp again.
That's why I was like, why are you setting up camp again?
Well, this scene's also where I kind of got a real strong feeling that Peter wasn't an actual American.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Peter being mad about it was funny, but Craig certainly, at this point, he doesn't give a shit anymore about his rules about being alone anymore because he lets him go off.
Oh, he'll be fine. If he's not back by 10 a.m., we'll go find him.
Yeah.
Well, he also he wants to show one of the girls his survival tip.
Ooh.
His pencil dip.
Just the tip.
Dip.
Dr. Alan Grant's survival tip.
Okay, so Peter is away from the rest of the group at this point. Mm-hmm. We then cut to the random couple in sleeping bags.
This is actually my favorite death scene. I thought it was really fucking brutal.
Yeah. For no reason.
Yeah. So, go on.
Okay. And this, at 35 minutes in, that's when we finally see the killer. Finally, to see the wild man. And I guess the next morning is when...
Well, what happens... We were talking about them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Still talking about the sleeping bag deaths? Okay, so I guess he hoists one over the tree, or a rope over the tree, and pulls one up. And the other one's still on the ground? Is that...
He ties them into their sleeping bags.
Yeah. And one of them is screaming, "Don't leave me alone," because everyone screams that. But
isn't that the one in the tree?
No one's leaving. Yes, no one's leaving.
That dude is not leaving her. Anyway.
He's stuck in the sleeping bag. And no one's leaving her.
So, yeah, he's screaming too. He's not having a good time down there.
I get it. Like, this is a thing you're yelling in the movie, but like, it's not necessary here, you bitch. But okay. But it was a brutal fucking kill.
I think this is the second of 3 arms that gets lopped off in this film.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a lot of...
I think so.
De-limbing.
But then, that's when we cut back to Peter being a hot mess, because... Yeah,
Peter's going crazy in the morning, and this is the first time one of the main characters actually sees someone die.
But before that, he's like whining, and he's like, "If there's anyone out there, you could get hurt real bad.
I've got a shotgun with a hair trigger."
And I was like, no one's scared of that. I was like, he is a hot fucking mess.
It's also like, killer, I'm right here.
Then he tries to warm up by hugging a bunch of sticks.
Yeah. But then he finally sees his friends. And that's when this next thing happens. Because he's watching his friends in the water.
He hears the friends in the water. But then he sees a fisherman.
No, he's having a flashback about his friends in the water, of him playing and splashing.
Oh, it's a flashback?
Yeah, and he's sitting there reminiscing.
He sees the fisherman.
Mind you, that's the funny thing about it.
A bear trap to the face?
Yeah, so he's... Okay,
this couldn't have been more than 8 hours since he split off from them.
I didn't realize it was a flashback.
Yeah, because it's him without a shirt on, like splashing at like Joni or whatever.
I thought he was watching Craig.
He's been away from them for a night, and he's just like, yeah, the times I've been out here so long.
Well, yes. Like, later on, when he's like, all of them acting like they haven't eaten in 2 weeks and shit. Like, he's like, we've got to get food. I'm like, it has been one night. Like, you're all need to calm down. But yeah, so he's having a flashback.
So Peter's like in this rock hangover, and he sees this fisherman, and the fisherman looks at him like he's a bear or something, and Peter's probably thinking like, oh, I'm such a badass. But the truth is the killer's on top of the rock above him, and then somehow gets this bear trap to go into the fisherman's face.
Dude, that death is awesome.
But was also hilarious because it was one of those situations where it's like you think you're waving at somebody. You think that they're waving back at you, and he wasn't waving back at him, and then he just saw a bear trap go into the guy's face.
And then the killer emits some kind of yellow ooze, and starts making noise. Like every other time that the killer has done his killing, there's silence.
Yeah.
But this is where it starts going.
Oh yeah, he's like laughing.
The crazy laugh, yellow ooze.
And I also thought it was weird that Peter's wearing pink too. Why are these campers wearing?
Well, you want to wear bright colors out in the woods because of hunters.
Yeah.
That's why they wear
orange vests.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hot pink works.
Well, actually, to be honest, that shirt was promoting a movie that the director had done beforehand. But anyway,
shameless self-promotion.
Yeah. Yeah. But the next scene is
This is where
it's fucked up to me. It's between Craig and Joni.
Yeah, Joni. Craig's teaching Joni how to make a trap to catch small game.
He's totally trying to fuck her.
But
it's fucked up.
She's getting him to sprinkle trail mix into the trap, and she sets the trap off on his hand as a joke. And to get revenge, he then ties her up into a pulley with a tree in the sleeping bag and starts poking at the sleeping bag with a stick, which I'm guessing the killer was chasing Peter. But then when he started hearing Joni scream...
Right before that, when he's tying her up, about before he hoists her up or whatever, he's saying like, say uncle, bitch, say uncle. And then he goes, say it, bag of dicks, say it, bag of dicks. And he says it, and I understand all this. He's like... maybe this is like, is this the first like to celluloid film that like Bag of Dicks was like spoken on?
And I was also just like, what the fuck?
And
this
why would
is
you do
really
that?
fucked up shit for you to do. So the next thing that happens to him, I think, was well deserved. Personally,
he definitely catches some flack over it. I'm pretty sure that the killer is chasing Peter, but when he starts hearing Joni screaming, he's the sound brings him to where Joni and Craig are, because he was in pursuit of Peter up until that point. You start hearing Joni screaming, he comes over. She gets a hole in the sleeping bag, and Peter's messing with her, and she's like, somebody's coming. And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, you're thinking of Craig, not Peter.
Craig, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And, the killer comes and kills Craig.
which I think he deserved it because he was what he was doing. I think was real fucked up.
That guy was a square from the fucking beginning. Fuck him.
And also, basically, I felt like this whole movie, like no one knows what the fuck is happening, and neither did I, except Peter. And then all of a sudden, Ingrid knows for what's going on, but we really don't know how she figured anything out.
Yeah, this whole time she's been trying to get Craig and Joni to go find Peter with her.
Yeah, but Peter's the only one that knows anything's going on. Nobody else does. And then I guess, now Ingrid found out.
Ingrid hears Joni and Craig messing around and then starts hearing real screams when Craig is getting his arm cut off. Another arm cut off. By the killer. She comes over and they're already not there. Joni has escaped in the sleeping bag while the killer is dealing with Craig. Ingrid comes over, sees all the blood, and then figures out something's wrong and goes off by her own, lonesome. So Joni gets away, and Peter stumbles into their camp at that point. And that's where Ingrid
finds him.
Thinks he's the killer and almost hits him with a rock.
But that's also when Peter is really concerned with food. And he's like, we've got to get food. I'm like, dude, it has been one day.
By this point,
the killer must be taking all the food from all these kill sites.
But it doesn't matter. He's acting like he's been out in the wilderness for like a week.
He did shit himself earlier, so he's on empty. True,
but I was just like, dude, the last thing you need to worry about right now is like that you're gonna die from starvation. You know there's a maniac out here, so I don't think the food is should be your number one concern.
He's still got the same genes on. Maybe he could eat his own shit to survive if he needs to. At this point, has he found his signature stick yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I was like, it's been one day. You're concerned about food after you saw a guy get killed with a bear trap to the face, but you're concerned about food.
Yeah, that shit makes you hungry.
It won't be the last time that somebody's really concerned about food.
Then he said no.
Joni gets nasty.
But when he sees, he goes in the cabin.
Okay, yeah. So this is where they stumble upon the cabin, which later on the cops show up at the cabin. First thing, that cabin couldn't have been that far away.
Also, he talks to the cabin.
He does.
The cop talks to the cabin.
We're not there yet.
Yeah, we aren't there yet.
So Peter and Ingrid stumble into the cabin, where they set off a booby trap, which somehow brings Greg's corpse up.
Craig,
I keep calling him Greg.
And Peter freaks the fuck out.
But how did the killer have time to kill Craig, bring him back to the cabin,
him up,
and back him up and set a trap.
And set a trap.
Like, that's not even going to kill anybody. It's just going to scare him.
And then Peter, when he sees, he's like, no. I laughed so hard.
But then he tells Ingrid, she's trying to like cover him up, and he's like, we can't do anything for Craig right now. We need food. And he keeps digging around on the ground of this, like, there's no food there, dude.
And you need to get away.
To tell you the truth, Craig would probably have been the best source of food in that house if he would have just like taken a leg or something.
Yeah.
Like,
but then
not
there's
if
like
you know what's in the box. I hear.
But then there's that chase scene, which is way too long. The music is way too dumb.
It's probably the best little scene in the movie, though. The moving camera while they're running through the woods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was done by having the camera on the back of a truck.
Yeah, it looks like it, but it came out well.
Yeah, it did. It did come out well. It's a good tracking shot.
So at some point here, after they leave the cabin, they're being chased, and the killer has these little jingle bells on him, on his spear.
Well, this is where we get to the next random.
Well, doesn't he have like a rosary wrapped around his face?
This is
and
kind
shit?
of a random kill. So there's another random hiker.
Yeah, because doesn't that random hiker find the bell?
The killer
stick?
sees the random hiker, and then
Paul
he can
Simon
somehow
or
tell.
Gallagher, the Gallagher dude who's walking around in the woods.
He doesn't look like Gallagher.
He's got a tamer sham and long hair. He doesn't have a mustache, but
he finds
like Paul
doesn't he
Simon.
find the jingle stick? And
Yeah,
he's
okay. So
carrying
he
it?
finds the jingle
Okay.
stick.
jingle
It's
stick.
almost like the killer knew what was happening and was going to set a trap to make Peter a killer too.
Yeah.
So, he finds the killer's jingle spear and picks it up. Oh, I found something great. And he comes around a corner, and Peter hears these jingle bells, and he's like, "Hey, Ingrid, quiet! I hear something."
Santa.
And
It's Santa Claus.
he stabs this fucking random hiker
With his signature stick.
with his
with
signature
his now
stick.
signature
He's got
stick.
a signature
And
stick
then he
at this
goes,
point.
I'm sorry.
I thought you were the killer.
I'm sorry. And I was like, you need to fucking calm down.
Speaking of sticks, a little callback. Craig, what was up with him carrying that stick with like little leather straps around it? It was like a little wand. He's carrying it in multiple scenes, and I don't know what the fuck's up with it.
Also, the maniac laughing right after that, okay. I guess you're about to go into it.
Okay, yeah. So this was all a ruse. He gifted the jingle stick to the random hiker.
Peter kills the random hiker
that had the jingle stick.
I'm sorry.
But this was all just like a ruse by the killer, so he could start throwing other sticks at Ingrid.
And he's laughing, and I was like, and I'm like, I was like, dude, I feel you.
And
I feel you.
That's when Peter's like, Ingrid, he's going after you.
No
Run.
shit. Yeah, no shit.
Heterosexual killer, I guess.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, he is going after her because he's throwing sticks at her.
But he clips her in the arm, and then she's just standing there like an idiot, and another one swipes her face, so she's a little cut up at this point. And then somehow they get away. They just keep running and running, and occasionally they'll hear his stick, but they don't see him. And they fall asleep right under some power lines. When they wake up in the morning, they're like, "Oh, power lines." They look down the hill, and there's a town.
And
the movie is over.
At that point, I was like, God, this editing
I was
is
like,
bad.
"Damn, there's 28 minutes left."
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be over. I was like, well, at least those two live.
That editing and that whole scene, I was like, okay.
How did they get away?
And I was like, how did they figure out they've made it? Like, I mean, how do they really know? But I guess whatever. Now they're acting again like they haven't eaten in days. So, Joni is.
Hot food, hot
When it
bed.
goes to Joni licking that whole plate, that's later.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, sorry, it was another food.
So they go to the
issue.
hospital. Ingrid's getting stitched up, and Peter decides he's been telling everyone that'll listen, "I've got to go back out there."
He's
Joni's still
going
out there.
back in.
He is a hero for 1981.
Peter's going back in, man.
Yep, he's like, I'm going back for Joni. Y'all aren't listening.
And speaking of Joni,
Whenever he started mentioning Joni in the hospital, that's when I was like, oh, Joni's still alive. Oh, yeah, that character.
and but they're referring to him as a nutcase because he cares about his friend.
Yeah, yeah.
This idiot wants to go back out there and find his friend. So we go back to Joni, who is drinking from a creek and
Again, people are
licking
drinking
peanut
from a
butter
creek.
off of plates from trash bin.
She eats the rest of her payday bar and then like washes the wrapper in the creek and then licks that, and it's like, man, that's a
she
good
takes
fucking
a
candy
plate
bar.
from some trash
Cooler?
area and licks the whole plate. I'm like, why are y'all acting like you haven't eaten in days?
Something tells me Joni's the type of girl that would do that in the city.
Yeah.
So she ends up at the cabin, which smells badly. Apparently, everybody makes a stinky face whenever they go inside the cabin.
They talk about things smelling from the beginning, but
She opens a box that's on the floor, I'm guess looking for food, and shrieks in horror, even though we can't tell what's in the box.
It wiggles.
It does wiggle.
it's it was Gwyneth Paltrow's head.
But then she
Wait, was that-
No, it was one of Gwyneth Paltrow's pussy candles.
what's in the box?
That's why she screams. Oh!
It's a goop
That's
candle.
the stink in that fucking cabin is Gwyneth Paltrow's candles.
Pussy candle.
But she also sets off some kind of booby trap, and dirt falls on her head. But the killer is right there.
Killer's a
And
practical joker.
I really like this machete kill.
Yeah.
He really goes to town. I heard the director kind of toned it down because it was too much.
Yeah.
His wife didn't like it.
Yeah.
No, his wife wasn't directing the movie.
So after Joni is brutally murdered with a machete, we see our first glimpse of the wheelchair guy.
the handicapped hiker.
Yeah, it's fucking another random character. This guy that's decided to hike in a wheelchair.
With the goofiest intro music.
With every time he's shown, it's the goofiest music.
Okay, and then the search party shows up,
And everyone's talking over each other. Altman movie.
followed
Shitty
by
Altman
the
movie.
sheriff showing up to let them know that there will be no helicopter and that Peter has escaped from the hospital.
And they were like, "Oh, you got a mental case too." He also says that they don't have a copter, like a copter.
Copter.
Twice.
Coppers don't have copters.
The line is said twice, and I was like, "Okay, we get it."
The movie budget won't allow it, so the chopper's not coming.
But again,
Yeah, they're like, Peter flew the coop, and so the deputy's like, "Oh God, a mental case out there too."
But
I'm like,
the four hikers went 2 days trying to find this cabin. The sheriff says, I'm going to go check out the cabin, and is immediately at the cabin.
and he says, "Hello, the cabin." He says that to the cabin.
Is that what he said?
He says, "Hello, the cabin."
Hello, the cabin.
Yep,
Well, he's in the cabin.
for
and
a long fucking
the
time.
cabin,
And then finally,
the cabin goes, "Hey man, what's
Jamie
up?"
falls on him as he's looking in some corner of the cabin. The cabin really confuses me, the whole...
It was
Set
a
up
really
of the
long
cabin.
scene. It was a really long scene, and him and the deputy, because the deputy shows up too after he's found those bodies, and he's like, "We found one," and they're very nonchalant about all of these dead bodies.
I think we're just getting started.
It's
Yeah.
well, with the cabin,
It's
with
like no big deal.
With all the like old memorabilia in there and stuff, because there's like an old Coca-Cola sign. There's like some empty birth control. It's like if you like crammed a fucking like Cracker Barrel like down to like 4 rooms.
It looks like an episode of Hoarders. But I also noticed that
Cracker Barrel.
when the deputy shows up, there's a jump scare. And this is like the third jump scare. There are 2 jump scares with the hikers like walking up on each other earlier in the movie. It's like, oh, it's just Jamie. Okay. So Peter sees the cops dragging Joni out, and he's like, oh, Joni's gone.
Oh yeah, he loses it. Yeah.
And that's when he starts hunting for the hunter with his special stick.
But we go back to
Well, he gets his stick again after he gets out of the hospital. He finds the same fucking stick.
Yeah.
I did skip
special
over
stick.
cutting back to the wheelchair
We have
guy.
to no,
once.
because this is where it cuts back to the wheelchair guy.
Is
After
this where he
Joni's
gets
found,
his? Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So he finally makes it to his destination. There's this beautiful synth music going on, and he's decapitated.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
at least he got to the top. You know, never let anybody tell you can't.
And I was just like, "There's this search party's been going on, and why did no one find him?" It's not like it would have. I mean, it's not like it was easy for him to get to where he was going.
Well, at this point, they must have found like 8 corpses or something.
Yeah, but they didn't find
Or
a guy in a
Couldn't find
wheelchair.
a wheelchair
Or
man.
at least ran into 15 or 20 other fucking people that weren't dead yet. Because how many people are on this fucking mountain?
I know. The most random fucking characters.
Okay, so after the decapitation, we go to where I guess the search party is going to camp out for the night, and that's when the nurse lady,
Dr. Maggie.
She's brought Ingrid back, right?
She's brought Ingrid back.
This is kind of where,
but Ingrid's also escaped.
Yeah, Ingrid escapes. She sees the machete. She sees the machete, and she escapes. This is where I kind of stopped paying attention because I was just like, I don't care anymore.
So Ingrid escapes, and we finally get the big face-off between Peter and the wild man.
It is tedious as fuck.
And then somehow Ingrid just happens upon them.
Yeah.
At just the right moment. And I guess Peter makes a straw man to kind of fake out. He
throws his shirt in the bush.
He finally takes his shirt off.
That's why it was pink. It got his attention.
Wraps it around some leaves. So, the wild man sees the straw Peter and is kind of confused, which gives Peter the chance to throw a spear into the shoulder of the wild man. But then he sees Ingrid and they start hugging. And when they turn around, the wild man is not dead. He's after them with the machete that Ingrid dropped, I guess. But they just end up killing the shit out of him.
I mean, yeah.
As the cops walk up.
As the cops show up, and it is exactly, it looks exactly like a shittier version of Last House on the Left or Hills Have Eyes, where they're overkilling this guy while the sheriff looks on and doesn't really do anything. And then
case closed.
Then they walk off into the wilderness.
No, Peter turned Ingrid straight, and then at the very end, the Aryan deputy James Franco says, "Cute couple," and even the sheriff looks over at him like, "Ingrid's fucking gay, you dumbass."
Yeah, it says cute couple, and then they just let them walk off into the wilderness of the mountains, and then.
Right before Peter and the wild man fight, the wild man is messing around with the box that Joni saw in the house.
Yeah, the one that she was like shocked by.
And at some point we do see the baby that I guess had been stolen from the mother emerge from the box, playing with an axe.
Yeah, playing with a hatchet. Yep.
I guess that's going to be the next wild man.
No, that's how ICP started.
Oh,
Hatchet Man.
That was the first gathering of the Juggalos. Don't Go in the Woods was the first gathering of the Juggalos.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah, that's literally the end of the movie. So, yeah.
Well, there's a cool song on the credits too. The "Don't go into the woods tonight, you know you will be thrilled."
Did you bring your guitar?
No, but I know how to play it.
Sadly,
I don't. I didn't bring a guitar.
Thank God. So,
what the fuck's that supposed to mean?
Well, I don't want to hear it. So, next,
I guess now we'll be talking about the kill count.
The kill count. We've got 15. Although the kill count website was wrong and had 16. But anyway.
I would say it's more like 20.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe they're counting the baby that's going to die for being left in the woods.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we have Alma, one, the girl who started her period in the water. Unknown kill. We don't know how. 2 is the bird watcher. Apparently he had his arm cut off and was stabbed, but that's not really shown. Number 3 is Dale, who's knocked off the cliff by his camera. Then 4 is Dale's mom. We don't know how she does either.
She started her period.
She was finishing, remember?
Oh, finishing her period.
5, we have
Menopause.
Dick. We don't really know how he's killed, but his face is slammed into the van, and you do see that. 6 is Cherry. She's blown up in the van.
Best kill.
7 is the female artist who's stabbed to death. 8 and 9 are the sleeping bag campers. They're stabbed to death. 10 is the fisherman that gets the bear trap to the face. 11 is Craig, who's stabbed and his arms cut off. 12 is the man on the trail that's killed by Peter with a tree branch to his tummy. Then 13 is Joni. She's macheted. 15 is the man in the wheelchair who's decapitated. And 16 is the maniac who is stabbed by Peter and Ingrid. And I'll go into a few fun facts. They're kind of fun, I guess. The film was dubbed, the whole film, which you can tell.
The mark of a masterpiece.
And it's already bad. I mean, the acting's already bad, but
it leads me to wonder, was Peter, the actor himself, Australian, or was the person who overdubbed him Australian?
It was him.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he overdubbed it.
Yeah.
If he's not Australian,
everyone
I don't know what kind of accent.
Everyone
that is.
overdubbed their own stuff except for the guy who played Dick, and he wasn't there. So I guess one of the other guys had to do his dubbing. The principal photography was done in 10 days, and that was with the main characters.
And
the other random kills were done before principal photography, and it was they were mostly like crew members. We already talked about how the maniac was actually a musician who had a song in the cop car. The film stock was only $400.
No, you don't want to hear me play guitar. Jesus fucking Christ.
The budget was estimated $20,000. I don't know how much this movie made. It did come out theatrically because it wasn't shot on video, but I don't know where. There's no information about that. And Craig, the footage of the ghost story, there was footage of Craig telling the story, but it was destroyed. So maybe that's why the ghost story's so like fucked up, because they had to just dub the story in to the movie because his part got destroyed. So they had to redo it or something. I don't know.
So they just wrote in a fart?
Yeah,
Okay.
basically.
Well,
so
when it works, it works.
Did you know this was on the UK's video nasty list?
yeah, until they finally took it off because they were like, "This is cheesy as fuck." Yeah, it was on the video nasty list, but there was a lot of shit on there. So Nick, how many stars do you give this?
2.
2 out of 5.
2 out of 5. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it 1.75. It's not very good, but it's watchable. It's short.
Well, bad acting, weird audio, beautiful nature scenery, and very strange cast. Not bad, just strange.
Yeah, it was weird.
None of them were very attractive, but I kind of liked that.
Yeah, it was kind of like amateur porn.
Well, yeah, it definitely had the budget of it had a little bit more of a budget than a porn.
Yeah. Well, Mike, what would you give it?
I'd give it a 2, maybe 2.25. I thought it was really enjoyable the first time around. I mean, it's not going to be something I watch all the time going forward, but I'd recommend it to a horror fan.
Yeah, so this is our first entree.
Well, you say you're not gonna you say you'd watch it again, right? Mike?
I'd rather watch it than go on a hike.
Well, joke's on you. We're doing this next week.
Oh man.
So this is our first in our month of Backwoods slasher movies. So get ready for some more of those. And stay gagged on your stick of choice.
Stay gagged on Craig's survival tip.
Stay gagged on peanut butter covered trash plates.
Yes. Stay gagged on soon-to-be feral babies with hatchets, I guess.
Stay gagged on Peter turning Ingrid straight.
Yeah.
Stay gagged on jingly sticks.
Yeah.
Jingle sticks.
Jingle sticks. A Santa Claus, but a maniac. And stay gagged on all of our social media, Instagram, TikTok, Gag Me with a Knife Podcast. You can buy our merch at gagmewithaknifepodcast.com. And we will see you next time back in the woods. And don't go camping alone.
Holla at a balla.
Yeah. See ya.
Don't go out in the woods tonight, you probably will be thrilled. Don't go out in the woods tonight, you probably will be killed. There's a friendly beast who lurks about and likes to feast. You won't get out without being killed and chopped up in little pieces. Don't go out in the woods tonight, you probably will be thrilled. Don't go out in the woods tonight, you probably will be killed. There's a friendly beast who lurks about and likes to feast. You won't get out without being killed and chopped up in little pieces.